This is Power Tussle. Buhari government asked Supreme Court to dismiss ruling on Naira notes deadline. The Muhammadu Buhari-led federal government has asked the Supreme Court to dismiss a suit filed by three northern state governors challenging the deadline set by the Central Bank of Nigeria to end the legal tender status of the old Naira notes. The government, through the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, argued that the Supreme Court lacked jurisdiction to entertain the suit in a preliminary objection. The Attorney General of the Federation, through his lawyers Mohamud Magaji and Tijani Ghazali, asked the Apex Court to strike out the suit for lack of jurisdiction. The AGF, in court filings dated February 8, 2023, contends that the plaintiffs have equally not shown reasonable cause of action against the defendant. Citing grounds in support of the objection with reference to Section 251 of the Constitution, the AGF argued that the suit falls within the exclusive jurisdiction of the Federal High Court in matters of monetary policy of an agency of the federal government. Malami said the claims or reliefs are not against the Federation, but the federal government and its agencies, the Central Bank of Nigeria. The federal government of Nigeria is distinct from the Federation or the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The plaintiffs have no grievance whatever against the Federation of Nigeria. This suit has disclosed no dispute that invokes this Supreme Court's original jurisdiction as constitutionally defined. Recall that the state government of Kaduna, Kogi, and Zamfara had on February 3rd dragged the federal government to the Supreme Court over the Naira redesign policy of the CBN. The states urged the Supreme Court to compel Buhari and the CBN and commercial banks to rescind the February 10th deadline for the old 200 Naira, 500 Naira, and 1,000 Naira banknotes as Nigeria's legal tender. Ruling on Wednesday, the Supreme Court ordered the federal government to halt the implementation of the currency redesign policy pending the determination of the substantive court suit. Can you imagine? So, Tussle don't start now. The federal government, through the office of the Attorney General Federation, has now ordered the Supreme Court to disregard that ruling. That means they have to reverse it, they have to strike it off, and they have to also strike out the case that was filed by the three governors as well. Can you imagine? And they went and put February 15 for the case hearing. But now federal government has come out to say that the appeal court, the Supreme Court lacks the jurisdiction to fight that case because the fight is not against the Federation of Nigeria but the government. And the federal government, it is the Federal High Court that has the jurisdiction to hear their case because federal government is a different entity from the Federation. This law people, they will confuse person. They will confuse person that. So it means that any case that is against the federal government and its parastatal must go to the Federal High Court and not the Supreme Court. So let them revert it now. So we know that this court judgment is not going to stand and nobody will obey it. That's the truth. February 10 is February 10. Everybody has come out to say February 10 is February 10. The coalition of civil society organizations have come out yesterday and protested in front of CBN to tell CBN and to tell everybody that February 10 is February 10. That's to protect the Supreme Court judgment or ruling that CBN and federal government should be restrained or should not implement that 10th of February deadline for the tender of the old Naira notes to the public. So that is the situation right now. Okay, that protest was yesterday. I don't know whether it's going to continue today, but the fact remains that many Nigerians are protesting against it. I remember that a few days ago, we also had a court judgment that is, allowing federal government, that was from Federal High Court, that allows federal government to implement the 10th of February as deadline with the CBN. Okay. And then we also know that about 13 to 14 political parties said if they allow old Naira notes to exist in election, then they are going to boycott the election. And I'm sure those political parties are warming up now to see what will happen. So they will say they are not going to participate in the election, automatically mean that the election will be postponed, or it will be cancelled, or they will put interim government. There's something these people are doing that is not right. They want to set Nigeria on the path of violence. So they will say the election cannot be conducted, or they will hand over to interim government to do the election, or give room for military again to take over and do the election. I don't understand why this country is always like this. And somebody wants to destroy this country, especially the APC people that are desperate for everything. Okay, APC people that are desperate for everything. Somebody just put a comment here. Let's see what. Because so, where are we heading to? Nobody knows. This guy just wrote, this is the only comment available. Say, where are we heading to? Where we are heading to, from all indication, is that court ruling from the Supreme Court yesterday. That court ruling will not be obeyed, will not stand. That is the truth. If federal government and the Attorney General Federation has asked the Supreme Court to quash the case and write it off because they lack the jurisdiction to hear it, it means that we are not going to obey it. That is the implication. We are not going to obey it. Okay, that court order will not be obeyed. 10th is 10th. Let's see what those governors will do. And again, now that Governor El-Rufai of Kaduna State has gone ahead to tell his people in Kaduna and the rest of Nigeria to go ahead and spend their old Naira notes, that when Tinubu wins the election, he's going to reverse it. I don't know how that will go, because that is rebellious against the current sitting government. Okay, that's rebellious, absolutely rebellious. So what is government going to do about that? The Nigerians should have a way to manage that, because they are going to be in a fix. It means that El-Rufai is ready to instigate violence starting from the north. That is what it means, because he is already making a decision and making a public pronouncement that negates or that is at variance with federal government instruction or directive. So how will they handle all of that? It's quite unfortunate. Really, really unfortunate. Okay, so that is what is coming from federal government, saying that the Supreme Court should, cancel that order, cancel that ruling, because it will not stand. Okay, they cited the section of the law that prohibits Supreme Court from hearing such case. They lack the jurisdiction. It should rather be transferred to the Federal High Court. Okay, and let's hear it from there. That means that context has started, and if case not taken, that judge, if that judge that that made that ruling will also receive his own reward quickly, I'm sure. So thank you for listening. That is the update on the Supreme Court ruling around the deadline of February 10th on the use or on the banning of the old Naira notes. Federal government has countered that judgment now, and we're waiting to see what will happen again through today.